On my 21st birthday, I was an alcohol virgin. I was the kind of virgin most people are when they finally get their cherry popped. I sipped wine, tried beer, even had sex on the beach once, but I had never gone all the way, and my best friend Duho was determined to be my first. Now you may be wondering how I got to be 21 without ever having gotten drunk. I am from the Jersey Shore, which everyone knows is a place for partying. I went to school at NYU, which is a college in Greenwich Village, for crying out loud. Is it even possible to be 21 and sober under those challenging circumstances? Yes, it is. And here are my secrets. First, let me tell you how I survived high school as a straight-edge kid. It helped that I didn't have a lot of friends, that I did have a job, and that my favorite hobby was reading comic books. Those things helped, but what really put the edge in my straight edge is that I joined TEAM. What's this, you might ask? There's a team for straight edge kids? Why, yes, there is. It's called TEAM. Teenagers educating on alcohol misuse. Now, when I signed up for TEAM, I signed up for a few reasons. First of all, great for a college application. Secondly, it got you out of school a few times a year when the educating part came into play. And finally, alcohol was bad for you and illegal. I signed up for TEAM with a lot of other kids, and some of them were even popular. Now, I assumed they all signed up for the same 3 reasons. What I came to realize, of course, is that even though TEAM taught us skills like the fake out, where you could be at a party and look like you're drinking by having your red Solo cup filled with soda but not actually be drinking, well, most of the people who signed up with me actually only signed up for the first 2 reasons. They still went to parties and got drunk on the weekends. But that's where I had the real edge, because I never got invited to parties. I think I graduated high school without ever even being offered a beer by another student. Go me! Then I went off to school in the big city, and you might be thinking, now, where could a young girl off on her own in the big city possibly get access to alcohol? And I would say everywhere. I got into clubs that were 21 and over all the time. I never got carded going into a bar. And the best part was, there was a convenience store in the same building as my dorm. I would go with my friends all the time, and they'd buy bottles of wine and 40s, and none of us were 21. I avoided alcohol through my entire college career through a case of simple economics. In order to get alcohol, you need money, or friends with money, and I had neither. I suppose I could have flirted with the guy to get some. I've seen that work in movies, but I was entirely too wary of alcohol to have tried that. You see, unlike the other kids who joined TEAM with me, I actually read the manuals that told you about the effects of alcohol. Did you know that alcohol is a depressant? That it loosens inhibitions, clouds judgment? I didn't need to pay money for a drug that would make me sad or cause me to make bad decisions. I mean, I did that well enough without it. But on my 21st birthday, Duho decided it was time, and he was buying. Now, Duho was from upstate New York, but his parents were from Korea, so he took me to his favorite Korean restaurant in the East Village. We ordered some food and snacked on kimchi. In case you don't know, kimchi is to Korean food what breadsticks is to Olive Garden food. It's that side basket they just keep refilling. So of course I just kept eating it. It was free after all. Now, Duho and I had eaten a lot of great Korean food over the years, but on my 21st birthday, he introduced me to a Korean tradition. It's called never letting your guest's glass be empty. Duho made sure that I knew that he would be personally offended if I didn't let him continuously refill my glass, and conversely, if I didn't drink what he put in it. So in between various Korean dishes and Lots and lots of kimchi. Dooho made sure my glass was always full of his favorite drink, soju, Korean vodka. Now, never having been drunk before, I didn't know the effects, and so it wasn't until I stood up to leave that I realized that something was very, very wrong. Not only was the world spinning, it was also moving dramatically in and out of focus to the point where I had to hold on to Dooho just to make it to the cab. I wasn't scared, it was more fascinating. Like when on getting into the cab, I went completely blind for about 5 minutes. I didn't freak out. I just said to Dooho, I can't see anymore. He started cracking up, so I laughed and we were all good. When I got to Dooho's apartment, where thankfully I was crashing, his roommates were watching a movie, so I just went to his room and passed out on his futon. I don't remember any of that. I just remember waking up to seeing him and his roommates standing over me. Dooho said, "Shit," which is when I kind of came to my senses, because I don't normally get that reaction from people. I lifted my head to see why everyone was staring at me with this look of shock on their faces, and of course immediately understood as my face and hair unpeeled from a pile of gooey vomit. Everyone started laughing as I made my horrified way to Dooho's bathroom. This was the kind of misuse that team had educated me about. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume that some of you are not experts on Korean cuisine, and I just wanna give you a little background on kimchi. Here's how you make kimchi. You take raw cabbage, you put it in a jar with fish sauce, scallions, garlic, and hot red pepper, and then you let it ferment over several days or longer. To put it more bluntly, you let it rot. Kimchi is basically spicy, rotten cabbage. I'm telling you this so that you have a clear visual and can maybe even imagine the taste, because it looked and tasted exactly the same coming up again and again into Dooho's sink, bathtub, toilet, and all over the bathroom floor. I was Linda Blair being exercised. It just kept spraying out of my mouth and nose and landing anywhere I turned my head. Dooho was a great friend and didn't make me clean up after myself. I guess he had an understanding of what was about to happen and figured me being sick for the next 3 days was punishment enough and that I had learned my lesson. And I had learned. I have not had a drop of Korean food ever since.